Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you this morning for this morning devotion. And until this day, we have studied on overcoming addictions and temptations. From today onwards, for a few days, we are looking into some specific areas where we need to overcome, or the challenges or the problems that we face in our day-to-day life. This may be a sin or a habit or an addiction, or it can be a temptation. Today we will look into these areas, few of them we studied during this week, and I believe these will help you to overcome these regular problems almost every one of us will face every day. So let me touch today about how to overcome anger. I believe all of us will experience anger. There may be no one in this world who can say, I never get angry. Let us come to this point, how to overcome this anger. First of all, let us turn our Bibles to the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 and 27. Here, Paul writes to the church at Ephesians and he says, Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. If the scripture says, Be ye angry and sin not. Anger might come, it will come. But once that comes, it is our duty that we should not allow it to lead us to sin. And that's why he gives a remedy then and there in the same scripture. He says, Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. He says, You settle your anger before the sun go down, before you come to bed. Settle that anger. Confess, admit, and forgive, and settle down with the person with whom you are angry with. If we don't do that, verse 27 says, Neither give place to the devil. That becomes a foothold for the devil. If we do not settle that anger before we come to the bed, that matter itself remains as a foothold for the devil where he starts working on it. That means, if we go to bed with anger, after the routine activities of the day, when we come to bed, that's where when we are free and relaxing and our mind starts working, because devil starts working through our mind. So our thoughts will go back to that act of anger or the matter that related to anger or the outcome of that. We will start thinking about that person or that incident or that kind of that matter. So that takes us back to the past so long that we start remembering even the old wounds or old hurts that have caused the anger now to become more severe and affect us. That's the reason, before we go to bed, it is better to settle down with the matter of anger and go to bed with peace and heart of forgiveness. We have to go to the bed with a heart of reconciliation, so that we will have the good things to think about when we go to the bed. So let me ponder this matter in another scripture from the book of Psalms chapter 4 verse 4. There the psalmist David says, Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. He says, Stand in awe and sin not. When you come to bed, stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed. Commune. Speak to your own heart. Speak to that. What that heart is thinking all about. What it is pondering all about. If that is pondering on the matter that is caused you to be angry and make an issue, pull away your heart from that matter and bring it to the Word of God or the goodness of God or meditating upon the Lord. Then you can overcome the anger. Or else the whole night will go in anger that can continue for weeks and months. Better to deal before that. So, if we have dealt with anger before we go to bed, then we have all stuff on the bed to think about what God has done throughout that day. Goodness of God, mercy of God, forgiveness of God, and grace of God. All these things will take over and you can have a good sleep at night. Or else that itself will be a trouble to you. Then finally, let us come to one more area, another scripture, which is in the book of James. In the book of James, there we see again, here Apostle James writes in verse 20, chapter 1. He says, "For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God." That means the wrath of man or anger of man, it's not in line with the righteousness of God. It is against the righteousness of God. That's why he says, the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. And just before that, he gives some tips how to overcome this. In verse 19, he says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." He gives another tip here. What he's saying? When you're angry, what you must do? Number one, swift to hear. When somebody is talking to you, you be quick to listen what the person is talking to you all about. Or the situation what it is speaking to you. Listen to that clearly, fast. But be slow to speak. Do not respond immediately without thinking the right answer for that incident or the matter. And secondly, if you take a little time to speak, say about 30 seconds to 1 minute's time, by then your wrong anger will come down and you will not be angry later. That just a 30 seconds time or 1 minute's time can cause either great damage to you or the same 30 seconds to 1 minute which you control yourself, being in self-control or hold back your anger, that can keep you away from anger and protect you from the dangers that can come out of that anger. So let me stop here, my brothers and sisters. I'll come back to you with another point tomorrow morning. Until then, God bless you. Amen.